Ask Reddit by Mysterious Fudge 171. What screams I make terrible financial decisions? Burning friends by asking for emergency money, based on some fake story, that you will never repay. Yes, oddly specific. Yes, all too common. So you have met my family. I quit drinking, but took up a Lego addiction. It was cheaper being drunk. Well, at least it won't ruin your health unless you eat them, so good change. My neighbor can't buy her kids school shoes but has custom rims and wheels. Not to the same level, but I internally have some judgment towards one of my husband's siblings. They have brand new cars, lots of toys, etc., but have zero interest in helping fund any college for any of their kids. But then get annoyed when their oldest child say they don't want to go to college. Like, of course your kid doesn't want to get themselves into mounds of debt. But instead of helping you bought a $50K new car. I obviously don't say anything, but it makes me very grateful my parents prioritized my college and helped me pay for it. A private in any branch of the military buying a Dodge Charger. In 2006 we have a specialist buy a 1996 Mustang for, I shit you not, $20,000 at 24% interest rate. He even bought it from a dealership that we had a briefing on a places not to go cause they screw over soldiers. My ex still went to Walmart and bought a shitload of nail clippers, files, polish and anything to do fingernails with. I asked her what the hell she planned on doing with all that. She told me she was going to start a flea market. She was gonna try to sell Walmart crap on the ground for more than it costs at Walmart. When you ask them how much they paid for something and they only know the monthly payment amount. Worked with a new hire kid in a well-paying blue-collar job. Apparently it was really common for new hires to just blow their first big paycheck on a car because our trainer told them not to do that in case they didn't make it past the lengthy training probationary period. Sure enough, the day after we got our first check, 19-year-old kid drives up in a 1968 Camaro, in Alaska. I asked him how much that bad boy set him back and he said he managed to get it for less than $1,500 a month. Had no idea what his out the door price was. JFC man. Reddit awards, now that we don't get free ones. Next morning edit, holy crap guys. They're turning M off in September. Just fired a note at folks tonight saying use M if you got M cause they're going away. Edit, here's a link with more info. https://www.reddit.com/r/reworking_changes_awards_coins_and/ Making impulsive decisions right after getting paid. Why do you have to call me out like this? I know someone who is always struggling with money. Then I found out he has individual cups of Dunkin' Donuts coffee delivered to him, via third-party apps of course, while he's working at home. You know, instead of making a pot of coffee for yourself. I know someone who struggles with both weight and money. I was visiting her one day when there was a knock on her door. She had DoorDash deliver her a cupcake from a local bakery. She also will travel to Europe and then complain she has no money for gas when she's home. I basically tune her out when she's complaining at this point. Edit, my husband informed me it was actually a cheesecake, not a cupcake, which I feel makes it worse. Can't pay rent on time, but never misses a night out. Can't pay rent but got a new tattoo. A family member of mine has been begging money from everyone. He says they don't have enough money for food, rent, fuel for his wife to get to work or for tires. We own a tire shop, and offered him a set of used tires for $40 if he will help mount them. It's a job he's familiar with. He said he didn't have $40. He goes to my sister-in-law and says he needs to make money for tires. She starts paying him daily for doing some remodeling work for her. He informs her on day 3 that he won't be available for the next 2 weeks because he is going on vacation to New Orleans. Jesus Christ, 2 weeks in NOLA. I went there for a one-night stay and was ready to leave the next morning. It's a good weekend trip. City 2 weeks would be brutal. Having the top of the line everything with a minimum wage job, unless you are an unlicensed pharmacist on the side. Unlicensed pharmacist lol. Every time you get a chunk of cash, you think you have to find a way to spend it. This is a poor person thing. I had a roommate like this. It's pretty sad because it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Of course, people who aren't desperate and out of money all the time think, why wouldn't you just save that extra $200 grandma gave you for when your car breaks down again? But to them, they never have extra money. The next shoe dropping is inevitable and they will figure it out then. It will suck regardless, so might as well actually get some small luxury for once because they can afford it, and who knows when that will happen again. It's like being starved for the smallest bit of pleasure or happiness and finally being given a loaf of bread. You can parse it out and make it last. But it feels so good to eat the whole fucking thing. Expensive flashy car in the low rent apartment complex parking lot. Yes, I live in a lower middle class neighborhood. There is a McLaren, a Maserati, BMW i8, and a G-Wagon here. MSRP at 6 figures. Getting into debt to buy luxury products online. The vast majority of luxury customers and millionaires, they're regular people who earn below 6 figures. Yeah, 100% the target demographic for many luxury brands is middle class people trying to pretend they're much wealthier than they really are. First, it's just a bigger pool of people anyway than just targeting the rich, and second, many luxury brands aren't even quality products. They're the same materials as cheap shit, just with a special logo sewn on. Rich folks can afford actual quality stuff and don't focus on showing off specific brands. Basically, their actual product is fake wealth. They are not really selling handbags, they are selling make-believe rich. When you have a 150k allowance, a free house and vehicle, and you're still dead broke for 4-5 months of the year. Sounds specific? It's my entitled piece of shit uncle. Can I be your uncle? I'd be fucking thriving in that situation. A company my wife worked at would pay its employees Monday morning. Everyone would run to the bank at lunch, then go out to eat. They would continue to go out for lunch every day, but by Friday most would simply skip lunch as they had run out of money. My wife once asked why they were paid on Mondays, as it seemed a bit odd. She was told that payday used to be Friday, but the company noticed that many employees would go partying all weekend and come in Monday hungover and broke, so they changed paydays to Monday. By the weekend, employees were too broke to party and Monday productivity went way up. Deleted. Fancy pickup truck with bald tires. Sweet. I have a shitty pickup truck with new all-terrain tires. But don't worry, my payment didn't change. Every other reply in the thread pales in comparison to this. MLMs. Hey. Making questionable and risky financial decisions today because you think you'll be in a better position in the near future. You might be, or you might not be. In fact, if you're the type of person who makes financial decisions this way, it will almost certainly be the latter. I had a roommate who took out student loans twice what he actually needed. His reasoning was that he can either be miserable now and miserable in the future, or have money to dick around with now and be miserable in the future. I don't know why he thought that being miserable was his future by default. You own a Bored Ape NFT. NFTs in general. Signing up for an MLM pyramid scheme. When you can look at each company's income report and see 99.7% of the sellers lose money, you must have some critical thinking issues to think it won't happen to you. I always get hate when I talk about this on Reddit, but spending 1/3 of your paycheck on weed or custom bongs and then complaining that you have no money to cover utilities. I smoke, but if you tell yourself that you need it to get through the day or have anxiety, you're just addicted and trying to rationalize bad spending habits. People that I used to know that couldn't afford rent but spend $400 a month on weed, we're the fucking worst. Carrying long-term balances on credit cards. That interest will eat you alive. I know sometimes there are emergencies and people get overextended, but if you have a variety of debts, then credit card debt is most likely the one to try to take on first. I have always been a zero balance guy. Was unemployed for 7 months. It got past $10K and I was sweating bullets with no way to pay it off. Now I can see a path to getting it paid off in 2 months. It was definitely desperation for me. Buying an expensive car and modding it when you only just got your first minimum wage job. Guys coming out of basic training would be so pissed if they could read this. $3,000 wheels on a $3,000 car. Renting furniture. I've rented furniture exactly once in my life. My husband had knee surgery. Leading up to it, so many people said they slept in their recliner for weeks after having the same surgery. We didn't have a recliner, but he thought he would be okay propped up in bed. The first night home, his nerve block wore off around 2 AM. I was crying just from seeing him in so much pain and there was nothing I could do. The prescription pain meds weren't touching his pain. The next morning, I went to rent a center. I said I needed a recliner fast, and I didn't care what it looked like. They delivered it that afternoon, carried it upstairs for me, and set it up in our bedroom. A month later, he was mostly healed. I called them back, they came and got it. Cost me $75 and it's the best money I've ever spent. He lived in that recliner. I had 2 health insurance policies for 2 years. Didn't notice until I had a retirement solution specialist review my bank account. Dude, you must be so healthy.